Miss Connie White.
Well, I like to go to Memphis, but I don't know the way, and I like to tell you.
Hey, sir. What are you doing?
You know, I'm kind of a freak myself.
They're looking for you too, you know.
I just went out to get some cigarettes.
You don't know anything, do you?
About what?
About love?
I was sitting right here with a temperature of 101, and they took off their clothes and went at it right there on the rug.
You're a real hell of a good person for putting up with me, that's all.
Just find me dead one time. Just kill me.
He had on a dress suit and patent leather shoes. And I could see he was a real gentleman. Don't make me hurt you. You're very kind and clever. But I could only let a really rich man love me.
There's no one left to fly the plane!
Don't give up so easily. Just change your approach.
What approach would you like?
How about something like, I would like to jump you.
Think that would work?
Stands a better chance than wanting to share a meaningful life together.
I would like to jump you.
Go jump yourself.
I've been waiting for you, Ben.
Did you see anyone we know?
2 men who looked like police, and a third who just had to be FBI.
If I think he sends someone to follow me, why, that means that I think he doesn't love me. And I probably am wrong, because I always think he doesn't love me, and I know he really loves me. So I'm having a contradiction with myself, do you understand?
Why did you come here?
I suppose you'd like me to show you something in a nice pair of legs.
Legs? What would I do with legs?
Well, he's never going to fall in love with you if from the waist down you look like the seafood special.
I'm not Joe, Sissy. I'm Joanne.
What do you mean?
Joanne. I mean that, unlike, apparently, all of you, I have undergone a change.
You mean that all of this is for real?
David, there is one place we can hide while they call the FBI.
Happens every night like that.
It's just a nightmare. Just take the pills Doc Rob gave you and it'll go away.
Motherfuckers want to fight, we'll give it to them. Anyway, I've felt for some time that the show's got too domestic. It needs more style. It needs to be sharper.
Let me ask you something, little boy. Is your linguine ready for my clam?
It's your great-great-granddaddy Palmer's saber from the rebellion.
These girls, you know, they come and they go, but your brother, you know, look around you. It's just the two of you.
What about you? No, it's the 3 of us, Mom. All of us.
Congratulations, Mama. Let's go shopping. Go get Grandma. Let's go shopping.
Terry, have you met Steph? How'd you do?
I do very well, thank you.
Well, Jerry, what'd you think?
He was just some guy. Your mom knew one night. And then she went off looking for him. And she found him, but he wouldn't have anything to do with her. She just wanted more for you, darling. She did.
Your depravity has been expressed. And in the most provincial ways.
You must, Ada.
You must turn to God.
I achieve a lot of sympathy. Someone might say, how could that rotten Clara go dyking up in the bathroom while her poor sightless husband can hardly manage the hors d'oeuvre?
Myself, I'm not much of a reader.
I've got more of an ear.
Let's go for a ride. We need to get out of this house. Honest, we do. Couldn't we use some country air? Something fresh to breathe?
Yes, ma'am. We could do that. Couldn't we? So sickening and exciting all rolled up together.
I like you, Rosetta. I feel I understand you. Am I frightening you? A little bit. So tell me what you need.
I know that you think it is childish. Tonight is Halloween Eve. And to us, it is special. So you are all invited to dinner.
When sunny gets blue, her eyes get gray and cloudy.
Cocktails? I do a wicked Bloody Mary. You remind me a lot of me when I was your age.
Yeah? How come?
You've got stars in your eyes.
You lived in New York?
21 years, baby.
Suddenly, I understood the pain and the responsibility, looking down from that great height onto all those who could never touch the clouds, who never will.
I was wondering if you had any astringent that could take shoe polish out of carpet.
I think we've got something.
See, my son spilled some polish on the stairway, and I scrubbed and scrubbed away, but to no avail.
You know, I've made a career of talking to men. I've seen so many faces in so many towns. They all start to look the damn same.
I've just taken your father to the nursing home. He'll be better off there. Now let's get you some supper.
Mom? Mom, I need to talk to you.
No, I don't want to talk.
I love it.
What do you remember?
Oh, when I used to work with you.
Yes.
And I'd come to your beautiful home, and I think I'd sort of sit on the floor by your coffee table, and you sit on your sofa, and everything seemed white and really tall. It was just incredible. And you know, then the elegance of your speech and your carefulness, but not stifled, but careful with the language, so that it truly represented, let's say, your thoughts, like really represented them, instead of being a sort of a generality, you know, that sort of thing. It was incredible, just incredible. And you always had your white wine, and you got your dinners from the fridge that were brought to you. And one of the Beatles came to your house. And it was his son. That was amazing. Very
John.
John, there he was at the door. Wow. Anyhow, it was just cool and magical and just unforgettable. It's an amazing time. Thank you.
You know what I remember?
What?
I remember the first time you walked into that house.
Really?
Because it had a very high ceiling and wooden floors. And you wanted to test out the sonics of the room by singing.
Really?
And at our first meeting at my house, you just walked in, you gave me a hug, and you sang.
Wow.
And it resonated throughout the entire living room. I sat in my chair transfixed by, I can't recall what you were singing, but just the sound that emanated from you and the reverberation of the room. It put me into a state where I had to have 2 shards before we could even begin to talk.
I understand. You know, I don't remember that at all.
You don't recall singing?
No, I don't recall. Just recall sitting on the floor and looking up at you when you're on the sofa. And so the huge, almost cavernous, but in a beautiful way, living room that you have. I love it.
Is today a good day for you, a bad day for you, an average day for you?
Well, it can't possibly be average because you're here. You know, and this is part of the wonderful things that have occurred to me, that have happened to me, that have come up out of nowhere, out of the universe, out of God, out of whatever, since I've gotten this disease. You know, as if there's some knowingness. Really, it's amazing what's happened. You know, I had this, I put out this call for some money for GoFundMe. I mean, the response astonishing. The love that poured from people to me, and the amount of money, I couldn't believe it, and prayers and thoughts and just intentions and flowing all that to me. Do you know? It just all came to me, and really there were times when I wouldn't have been here right now, but the flow of that, you know, the energy, I guess, of that. But I like to think more of it as the thought and the intention that so many people had, you know, that I'd be better. It was just, it was amazing.
It's so important that people hear that. Hundreds and hundreds of postings from people who you, of course, have never met.
Yes.
Just shared with you how you touched their lives.
Really?
Speak to me a little bit more about when you read those posts from anonymous people touched by your music and your essence, what it did for you, how it made you feel. Hopeful.
Yeah, it made me feel astonished. Hoping, it gave me hope. Their hope was transplanted into me. But more than that, it made me family with them. It made me feel close, even closer. I always have felt close to audiences, even when I'm performing and theater and so forth. I feel very, very close to the minds or souls or something of the people in the audience. But this was more like the universe. It was more like this incredible gift or something that I didn't, you know, had to be ready to kind of deserve it.
I want to go back to what you began this with, which was that outpouring of love from people
Yes.
who... And I had a follow-up question about that.
Okay.
Many actresses, actors, are loved for their performances.
Okay.
Somebody does a role and people see it in a movie theater and they never forget it.
Uh-huh.
Similar to a musician who records a song that stays with you forever.
Yes.
I get that. When people came to your aid and by your side, and I read hundreds of those postings, most of them were not referencing your movies. They were referencing you. It distinguished you from other actors. You have always had this unique ability to touch people in this extremely profound manner beyond the role.
Really?
Beyond the script. Beyond the character.
Okay.
Where does that come
Well,
from?
thank you, my dear.
It's true.
Well, I think that I'm like the fool, I guess. You know, the legendary fool who talks to animals, which I do, talks to trees, and trusts everyone, and makes a lot of mistakes because of that. On the other hand, there's nothing that blocks me from loving my fellow man, from feeling close to my fellow man, and knowing, I've always known this, that we are really all friends, except there are a few weirdos. No, but we're really, you know, you get into an elevator. I mean, I talk to everybody.
I know you do.
I talk to people. I find out where, nurses and doctors endlessly have their colors done by me. And I find out, where they were born and how many children they have and blah, 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 blah. And people love to talk to me, and I talk to them right away. And I think that's it. I don't think my work really is enough that people could have this much response. I've often wondered about that. I've said to myself, oh my gosh, how many movies have I done that were really, really popular? 4? I mean, there are a lot of movies, believe me. But 4?
More than 100.
No, but that people that are really popular, that people know, like studio films. Anyhow, I've thought that. And I've thought, it must be something else. So, I think it's that. I think it's trust. And no openness. And knowledge. I don't just want to be liked or want people to like each other. I do, you see?
Yes.
And so it becomes true. And I know it's true, and it is true, so it becomes true in the real world that we have this rapport.
One time I went to a place in West Los Angeles to breathe fresh oxygen inside a large bubble.
Yes.
You climb into the bubble, they seal you inside, and they pump fresh oxygen in.
Yes.
It is used to stimulate clarity of thought, youth. It's like a meditation. You're in it for 45 minutes, and it's absolutely pure oxygen, and I loved it.
Oh.
It was like a buzz.
Yes.
It was a high.
Yes, good.
So when you're on this little thing, do you sometimes feel, something special going on, or is it just supportive?
I can understand your interest. No, it just makes you back to normal.
I see.
I woke up, I would say 2 months ago, in my bed at home, and I said, I can't breathe. And you have to get me somewhere where they have an oxygen machine, or I will die.
Yes.
So we call my fantastic doctor, Dr. Boasberg. at the Angeles Clinic. Fantastic human. He said, yeah, get over to St. John's. And we did, and I haven't had any problems since. They said I had no potassium in my body. And when you have no potassium, you just don't breathe. So they tried to put some potassium here. Is that, I think, potassium?
Potassium?
Yeah. If they inject you with it and you haven't had any in a long time, it burns horribly. So I was screaming, and the head doctor guy came, and this fabulous in-charge nurse came. And they were squabbling with each other, and she put something here, and she said, you have to dilute it. He said, you can't, but maybe a little. She said, you have to dilute. He said, I'm going to. And they put something here, and then it was really painful again. He said, no, that's below the other insertion, the other needle that she has. So she put it above here and diluted it, and I was fine. And I haven't had any problems since. So St. John's, I gotta say, they saved me, really. At really, really good work. It was wonderful. Well, that's the story of oxygen. So I'll wake up in the morning sometimes, and I haven't had oxygen. So I'm all right. But really, it is, as you say, supportive.
Whenever you want me to turn this machine on and give you those things, just let me know.
When my attention is off of it, I don't notice it. I'll notice it after a while that I'm not breathing very well, but I don't think that's because it's not in. I just think, oh, I'm not breathing very well, and finally I'll put it back in. So I don't notice. Somebody else has to, time and again.
I want to return to something you said about 10 minutes ago.
Why not?
Why not? There was a little story that you told, and it involved one word. And the one word, in my mind, resonated as something that I discern as being emblematic of you.
Okay.
You were talking about that time when you were trying to walk.
Yes.
And it was necessary for you to take 2 more steps.
Yes.
And you were having great difficulty.
Yes.
And 2 people who you loved and trusted helped support you make those 2 steps. And you acknowledged how supportive they were. While you were telling me the story, I acknowledged that as well. But I discerned something else.
Yes.
And what I discerned was how triumphant you were. What's emblematic is that in the time that I've known you, when it comes to all the things that you have accomplished,
yes,
and all the people who you have touched,
yes,
you have been triumphant. Yet, it has been the nature of your work and your public pronouncements to always give credit to others for your triumph.
I'm so happy for that. I'm so happy for that. I'm really, really happy for that.
For the ability to give to others the kind of kudos behind a statue that's handed to you for your accomplishment.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Thank you. And something that I am very happy to see in others. And if I have it, then I'm very happy, I'm triumphant. Yet again, for a selfish reason. Thank you so much, Elliot. That's great.
Do you feel that you are worthy of all the accolades that you are receiving now, that you've received really through your entire career, but they're just coming to the surface more now? Or do you still kind of adopt a posture of, it's really not me, it has to do with so many other elements, the writer, the director, etc.? Do you recognize the magnificence of your work?
I had an answer. Well, I've forgotten my answer. Oh, I guess neither. I neither say. You say neither, I say neither. No. I neither say it's all they, them. I don't know which it is now. And I don't do that thing of, I would be nothing without you.
You don't do that thing of, I'd be nothing without you.
Yes. Oh, I'd be nothing without you. I want this.
Take a moment. Take a moment.
What was the other choice?
Well, the choice is I would be nothing without you, or the choice is when people go to the movies and see me, there is something about me that's extraordinarily unique that comes off of that screen that has touched millions of people over my entire career. And I acknowledge all the support mechanism I've had, but without waving a flag about it, I was just given this gift to be able to do what I do when the lights go down and the movie rolls.
Yes. Again, I had my answer in the middle. I think, when you see a movie you've been in after many, many years, it's different than when you were first seeing it. When I first saw 5 Easy Pieces, my friend Tony Basil was sitting next to me in this little, watching movies room. And I said, oh, God. And she said, what do you want, blood? And then I saw it again recently. And I thought, what a lot of energy comes out of that girl, me. What a lot of sexual freedom comes out of me. I thought it was extraordinary.
So did I.
And I thought, wow, I bet I could have gone anywhere and asked anyone to do anything with me after that. I didn't take advantage of it. I didn't think about that I was that good. I could have gone to the Pasadena Playhouse, which I liked a lot, and said, let's do Cleopatra, and they would have done it. And I just didn't think that way. I'm from Illinois. I'm from Park Ridge, Illinois. And by the way, I think that loving and helping afflicted people is a rather different subject than people helping you be good in a movie. Maybe not. It's an interesting collaboration of notions, but I'm not sure it quite works. But you didn't ask that. You asked why did they have this response. I think I have a lot of life force.
Life force.
A lot of life force.
Yes.
And that comes off on screen. I saw Gatsby again.
Yes.
And when I made my entrance, so to speak, I thought, my God.
Yeah.
That's really dynamic.
Yeah.
That's really something. I never thought about it until 40 years later. I didn't think about it when I didn't think that was an interesting entrance. It didn't cross my mind, and so I didn't capitalize on it. But what's interesting is that one of the reasons that I didn't stay a successful actress, being in studio films, there are reasons. But one of the reasons is I didn't do what you say I do in that area of life. That area of life is trying to get lunch, trying to go to lunch with a successful director I might want to work with, trying to hook up with a big time actor, blah 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 blah. But it really has to do with admiration. You know, if I'm going to meet a director now, I'm excited because I know his work, and I know how great he is, and I know what it takes. You know, and I just have full of admiration. I mean, some amazing director asked me to look at the idea of doing a nurse who believed in euthanasia. And I said, no, I don't believe in euthanasia. What kind of a way is that? You know, I should have said, this is a great director. Have lunch, see him, and talk about something else you might do. I mean, a lot of other people would have done that, and I didn't do it.
Richard Rush.
You know, he had done the great 70s, 60s movies. You know, that rawness, that openness, people sneezing, people crying, noses running. And he was, anyhow, he came to my house, and anyhow, there I was. I read this movie, and I said, I don't understand this movie. What's this movie? I was used to plays. I was used to Broadway or off-Broadway. You just married the writing. You didn't worry about anybody that's attached with the producers. You just didn't worry. It was just the writing, you know. And it was just so a bit small-minded of me. Because I turned it down. And at that time, I was having a lot of PR problem. And and we would have loved each other, Richard Rush and I, because we were like that. And then that would have washed away any kind of bad PR that could have been started by gossip. By the way, which wasn't true, but there was gossip. As there nearly always is. But I'm a person who would be overwhelmed, washed aside with gossip, because it's, I can't handle it. But anyway, let's not get too complicated here. And then years later, I saw Richard Rush again, you know, at a screening at, I think, the Egyptian, and we talked afterwards. And I saw what a wonderful man he was, beautiful he was.
Yes.
Anyhow, if I had granted him his beautiful accomplishments and granted those to him, I wouldn't have worried so much about what it's about. I would have just done the movie, you see. And so it's a reverse of what you've been saying about me.
You said something.
You have such a childish face in some ways.
I'm such a child in some ways.
Good. Yes, you are.
Again, you know, when you talk with Karen Black,
yes,
one of the things that you have to bring to the table is a tape recorder that has a rewind switch. So you can go backwards a few minutes, embrace something that was said to bring you into the present. Because sometimes you
to bring the listener into the present, or Karen Black into the present?
Bring the listener back into the present.
Okay.
Because every now and then you say something that transfixes me, and then you move forward, and I haven't totally digested what you said earlier.
I got you. Well, how do we fix that?
We do it this way.
Okay.
When you said you saw your performance in 5 Easy Pieces, when you saw the way you first appeared in Gatsby, the first time you saw it didn't particularly mean much to you.
Right.
But in a later viewing, you said, well, there's something going on there.
Yes.
Well, I find that bewildering, because for the rest of us, when we saw you and Jack in 5 Easy Pieces, especially that last scene in the car, when we saw your entrance into The Great Gatsby, Those were riveting cinematic moments that touched us the second it unfolded. It took you longer to catch up with that.
Yeah, 30 years.
I find that remarkable. And then you said, well, the subtext of what you said is, had you worked harder on the politics of movie making,
right,
and taking the magic of some of these quintessential appearances and brought them to a Richard Rush or a movie studio, or tooted your own horn a little,
yeah,
there would have been so much more. My question, if you accept my paraphrase and my recollection.
Okay, darling.
Do you regret that?
Yeah, I do. I regret it. It was very dumb of me. But I'm glad I figured out why. I sort of figured out why things ceased. You have to sort of take responsibility for your part in the tragedy. You do.
You don't have...
you do have to take responsibility for your part in the tragedy. You have to say, what did I do that caused that?
What was the tragedy?
I lost my career.
Did you?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there were many things that would have happened had I still been loved and accepted as I was previous to Day of the Locust. Many things that would have happened in my lifetime that would have been nice for me. Roles and communications with the audience. But I wasn't allowed to have them. I was taken off the A-list.
You were taken off the A-list?
I think so, yeah. It's not quite an accurate way of putting it, but it is what happened.
But from the Day of the Locust on, you went on to do dozens and dozens and dozens of movies and plays.
Yeah.
You received accolades, you received awards, you received all of the... I mean, people all just have to go onto the YouTube thing, or, that clip reel of 100 clips of Karen Black in 11 minutes, or whatever it is. In other words, your mark has been established.
Yes.
You went on to enormous success.
Okay.
I don't want you to negate that, Karen, not at this moment.
No, it's fine. I love my life. And I love George Slicer with all my heart. I love Russell Brown. I love Angela Garcia Combs. I love all these things I've done. I loved my characters. And I loved working with these people. And I love all that. I'm very happy for it. But I would have done studio films had it not been for Day of the Locust. I would have, if I had just simply not done that. And so I regret it. Or I could have reestablished myself for who I was and what I was and why I am here in Hollywood if I had done the Richard Rush movie. So those are things I regret, because there were things that I could have done. But I never stopped working. I decided if that's, what's going on, well, I'll just sidestep it. I'll just sidestep it and just do movies. I'll just do movies people want me to do. And I'll work because I love to work. It's like asking me to come out and play. Let's go play in the backyard, Karen. You know what I mean? Playmate, come out and play with me. Play with my dollies 3. Climb up my apple tree. That one, it was like that. So I said, okay, I'd like to play.
What's your favorite song?
Oh, my Lord. The first song that introduced me to the astonishing world of recorded music was very, very long ago. And it's a song about the clouds.
A song about the clouds?
Yes. Buttermilk Sky. I was a little girl. My daddy owned a restaurant, and he was there working at the restaurant. My mother abhorred it, but sometimes she did, and my brother certainly did. And sometimes my father made the mistake, like on an empty Sunday morning, of having my sister and I work there, and we'd mess it up, get the giggles, and just huddle in the corner giggling with each other. Oh, it was terrible. And the one customer got, I think we only did it one Sunday morning, and the customer would get up and leave in a huff. Anyhow, it was a very nice restaurant. It was very long, and it had booths all the way down on one side, and like benchy tables on the other, and it had glass windows all the way down one side, in which lots and lots of plants grew. And then you walked in, and I did learn how to make a real malt, though, and I did learn how to make a real soda, and I miss sodas.
How do you make a real soda?
What you do is, the first thing you do
Yes?
is you put in a of whipped cream. Whipped cream starts it all. If you don't have whipped cream to start it all, you'll never have a good soda. First you put in the whipped cream, then you put in the sauce, like the chocolate sauce. Then you put in whatever kind of what are they? Wallops, but two.
I'm not good when it comes to menus. I only have had good shakes. I've never had good soda.
Yeah. Scoops.
Scoops.
2 scoops of whatever flavor ice cream. Then you put in more whipped cream. But by this time you've got a kind of a thick, milky, beautiful flavor.
I want to ask you 1 or 2 more questions about movies, and then I want to talk to you about where we are today.
Okay.
I know it's very difficult to answer this question, and you've probably been asked it many times.
Okay.
Of all the characters that you've played in all of the movies, I'm not asking you for your favorite movie. I'm not asking you for what you think was your best performance. I am asking you, which character do you relate the most to? And which character touched you the most as caring?
I don't understand the second question.
If I asked what your favorite film was that you were in, that would be an automatic answer, I suspect.
No, I never know. Go ahead.
Well, then I'm going to begin at the beginning. What do you think your favorite movie, your best movie was, your best performance?
Come back to the Five and Dime.
Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean. It took me months and months to become that character.
You felt your performance in Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, was the best thing you ever did on screen.
I think so, because it was true. It was really true. I mean, I kind of was a guy who'd become a girl. And I'm very much a girl, profoundly a girl. My whole spirit and soul is a girl. And in order for me to, when I walked into, rehearsal, I thought that I could do the accoutrement of being a person. Hi, how are you? And it would be okay. But I saw that it wouldn't. I saw that first I had to become a guy. I had to be a guy.
Yeah.
Be a guy.
Yeah.
And then I could be somebody. I could be someone who changed everything to be a woman. It needed to be a woman. And it was painful. It was really, really painful to do this. I don't know why. I mean, I can't remember anymore. But I went to bars and studied them, and I had an assist lady help me with the way you smoke, you cross your legs and all that. And And I found out that, once you get that surgery, many people committed suicide because it didn't give them what they really wanted and needed. And so they went to the end of the rainbow and there was no pot of gold, and it's painful, it's awful. And I really comprehended that. And what you try to do, of course, with any character is to wear them, kind of, and be them, and not pretend, but to really be that character. And you have to be willing to experience what they would have had to experience. And it was so amazing because for me to make that transition was like Joanne. She made the same transition in a way, and it was agonizing for her. So having gone through that, I think that I related to a lot of gay guys and just gay people when I did the role, because whether they had words for it or whether they brought this to the watching of it, they knew that I knew. They knew that I knew, and I think they felt close to me, and we loved each other so much.
You answered my first question.
Okay.
By coming through the door on the second question.
Okay.
I want to ask you, if I may, some of the tough questions. The serious stuff.
Okay, well, I thought we were pretty serious so far. But go ahead.
May I be, in a loving manner, non-sensorial and direct in my questions about your current situation?
Okay, try it.
You give me permission to ask questions that are bold.
Go ahead.
How do you cope with the situation you're in? Where do you find your strength?
I've done a lot of work on myself as a spirit, and the challenge there is to get your attention terminatedly off crap that's happened to you in the past, failures, pain, losses, frankly, deaths, and so forth. And the more of that you have, you get, like, let's say, there's a famous movie star whose name I've really forgotten, who had this huge pain in his chest. He couldn't get over it. And he went and he talked about, or came to realize, that he had once been in a huge fight on a horse, and a huge spear had gone through him there. And once he realized that, he actually never had that problem again. It's that kind of remarkable thing. So recovery is just from thought and memory. I once had a kind of flu that wouldn't go away, and I was coughing up green. And I sat with a therapist, and we went over this, and we came to a point where I remembered that I jumped off of a porch in my youth and landed on the sidewalk. Well, I like to jump and go through the air. It was fun. But I did it wrong, and I landed on my back on the sidewalk and knocked all the air out of me. And in the middle of the session, I said, is this the way you breathe? Because I had been breathing up here. And I started breathing as I breathe now, which is from my diaphragm. which was very much helped also with opera singing, because you have to like hold it out, and it went away at last. And it's that kind of thing. It's just recovering your attention from, because in a way you could say you are attention. You know, for instance, when you look at me, you have such a quantity of attention that it's beautiful. It's like a relief. It's like I know no matter what I go through or say, you'll be there to catch it and to see it. It's wonderful. That's what it is. And I've just done a lot of study, and then you get to a point where you don't think these thoughts, by the way. This isn't something you study. But you get to a point where you absolutely have nothing to do with your body. I mean, in the sense that it's one thing and you're another. And really, since I've had this, I've come to see that about myself. When I was at Mayo Clinic, they took out a little of my pancreas. It wasn't pancreatic cancer, but they took a little bit of it out. And then it broke where they'd sewed it, and it leaked a little. So they had to put a tube this long into my area here so that it would be there and take out the extra liquid that had happened because the seam had broken. And I said, what do people need? What do you need pain medicine for? It doesn't hurt at all. Because there are areas in your body that have no nerves. What on earth are you getting pain medication for? And they took this thing like this, and they put it all into my body, and I watched them put it all into my body like that. And I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was a peculiar time to teach somebody, because somebody was being taught how to do it, you know. But that and a lot of things like that have happened. They thought I might have, they found a lump, and they thought it might be cancerous. And so they had this weird thing that's kind of that big around, and it's got needles, and they stick it in you here, or where they saw the tumor, and they get little pieces of the tumor out of you. It has no feeling. It doesn't hurt at all. And, you know, I was talking to this woman, this Chinese lady, about this, that, and the other, and both of us kind of forgot that I should be getting pain medication. And it just offered me the notion that was there to be seen, that I just don't connect with my body. I don't think I am my body. And so that was that, you see? I mean, it was already there with me and everything, but I didn't think about it. But it has to do with that. I don't quite know in what way or how, except, you know, I do believe in reincarnation, pretty much. Not completely, but I do pretty much. Because when you find these things, your whole world changes, you know? And so I guess that's it. It's
Before
I do get frightened, though. At night, I'll have dreams that are a little like that.
Dreams of dying?
No, I don't have them anymore.
Before you were diagnosed with cancer, did you have a fear of death? Did you think about death when you were a healthy person?
No, really. I didn't. I had a fear of death when I was a very little girl, when I was 10. I was at home in my brother's room where I slept when he went to military school, because I sat up all night and talked to my sister if I was in our bedroom together. And I was trying to imagine not being. In other words, a death where you would not be. And it was, you know, I did a good job at imagining it, and it was so horrible. Oh, but I got up, and I went outside. It was daylight, and I ran down the sidewalk
I ran 2 blocks. I just had to run, and I ran back. But I don't know. Somehow I changed, and it became very different. And I really don't think that I've adopted this way of thinking because it's a crutch. Because I didn't go there. I mean, I didn't go to find the crutch. It just happened that in doing this kind of work, which I think most Eastern European religions do, because a big goal of any spiritual religion is to get you to have a looser relationship with yourself. People love drugs because they begin to have the natural relationship with themselves instead of the unnatural one. The unnatural one is you're socked into your body, and you just aren't, I don't know, everything's wrong. But the natural one is you're right outside your body. Not that I'm aware of being outside my body, but, I can tell if I lie to myself, if I buy some kind of thing that isn't true for me, but I buy it, you can get interiorized. I think psychiatric drugs make people go in, they make them interiorized. And that's all. I mean,
Are you afraid to die?
yes, I am. But not so much. Kind of on and off. You know that your eyes are so present and so intense.
I'm right with you.
Yes, you are. That I didn't just even stop to perceive what color they were. In one of these breaks, I said, Karen, what color are Elliot's eyes? And they really are an interesting color because they're a combination of green and blue and gray. I don't think there's a name for it.
When I asked you, and I understand the irreverence of these questions, of course.
All right.
When I asked you about whether or not you were afraid to die,
yes,
you were very straightforward in saying, yep, you are.
Okay.
My follow-up question. Where do you think souls go when they die?
I think they go to another body. They go find another mommy and daddy and family and baby body. And I think there's plenty and plenty and plenty of evidence for that. Some are the evidences of which I've been speaking, which are when you look into your past lives, suddenly you don't have the flu anymore. Suddenly, I remember the most devastating thing that happened to me once, and got my sense of humor. I had a certain kind of grief about me. I would cry a lot, and really, what it was this incident, this thing that had happened.
You mentioned just in passing a few minutes ago that you do believe in reincarnation. And when I asked you about where souls go when they die, you indicated, that reborn into another body in a different time.
Yes.
Having said that, and I accept, of course, the fact that you believe and embrace that, are you conscious right now as we sit here that your moments are measured?
No. That's an excellent question, because I've noticed that that's weird. That every time a day comes, or I talk to somebody, or it seems like it doesn't seem like it won't last. It just doesn't seem like it, to me. So, no, I don't. And it's such a good question, because, you know, it would be what most people would be doing. I just don't seem to do it.
I think what you're saying is that when death comes, it's going to take you by surprise. You're just not, you're not looking at a clock. You're not listening to a doctor saying it's not months, it's weeks. It's not weeks, it's days. You don't pay attention to prognostications. That you are in the now. And when that happens, you seem to be somewhat disassociated from the, not the inevitability. You've accepted that. But the moment it will take place.
That's right. That's really good. How'd you figure that out? Let me read your palm.
I listen.
Come on, read your palm.
You may read my palm.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You were sort of potentially meant to have your thinking more derivative from your family than it was. If you'll notice, if you can see, this line, which is your lifeline, and this line, which is your headline, are slightly disconnected right here. Okay, and so that's your home life as a child. And if it were, like mine is completely not connected. See that? There's that line?
Yes.
And then there's that line. And they're not connected right there when I was a child. So that's supposed to mean that my thinking is not derived from philosophy of life and everything. Another thing that I noticed right away is that you were potentially meant to be more sickly than you were.
I was potentially designated to be more sickly than I am?
Yeah, than you were a little later. And this is a disease you had, but it's better here. So you're healthier than you're meant to be. If you hadn't taken care of yourself, you would have been more sickly. And then this is your career line, one that goes up like this. And it's really good. It's strong, it's simple, it has power, but you do have another talent or more that you don't go to. Let me see this. Oh my God. You stop yourself utterly and potentially. See, this is your career line right here. Do you see it going up?
I do.
Okay, see how it stops at your headline? Your career stopped, potentially. But look, it goes right past that, right past your headline. See? You overcome things you don't love. You don't like sit around mooning about somebody, but maybe you do. But anyhow, I can't do this much longer, darling. So, okay, I think that's all I can do.
How do you want to be remembered?
That is a tough one. Well, certainly not for Trilogy and Terror. I can't stand it. I don't know how that was so popular. I'm sorry it ever happened. But people do remember me for that.
No.
Oh, I think I want to be remembered as a character actor. That's all. I mean, I like what? You don't like that answer?
It's not that I don't like the answer. The question wasn't, for which movie would you like to be remembered? The question was, how do you wish to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered that way. I like to be remembered as a person who can really perform a lot of different roles and characters and had a lot of understanding of the language and able to turn it into something acceptable and enlightening and fun and like that. That's what I like. I don't want to be remembered for any particular
personal traits never occurred to me. Like, because she's, I don't know, I guess loving. Not much more in there, Elliot. Character actor and I don't know.
Surprising to me. Not much left more in there, Elliot.
Uh-huh.
Besides what you do, which are making movies, I was going to who you are as Karen, and the personality characteristics, the spiritual essence, the things that you would like your grandchildren to think about when they think about you.
I can't answer it, I'm sorry. I just can't, I don't...
It's okay. It's okay. It's just the way I frame them.
Well, maybe you could give me some examples of what they could think of me.
Some people would like to be remembered as being a very good and loving, truthful, honest being who refused to compromise. Some people, in other words, it's more of a narrative, a bio, its final words as to how they would like to be remembered. Not defined by profession, but by the essence of their character and their being.
Oh.
And if nothing comes to your mind...
Well, I'm trying to be these other people thinking of me, and I don't know what they think. And it's not my business, it's for them to know. I just know that I've always thought it was a good thing that I could have so much capability in terms of, you know, acting, in terms of, and that they might know that I love them, everyone.
Is that the message you would like to share with your fans? The people who have never met you, who don't know you personally? Is that what you would like to say to them?
I think you want me to be deep.
I want you to be you.
I am being me. Well, I'd like them to know how thankful I am for what they've given to me, and the love and the devotion and the prayers and the intentions that I get well, and the flowers, and I think that's basically it. I'd like to embrace them for all that they've given to me, and tell them what a beautiful surprise it was. And I wish I could love them all back. I don't know if I'm big enough.
Is there anything that I have not asked you that you wanted to just express to me and our friends who might be watching? Take a moment and think of that.
I'm really bad at that question. A lot of people ask me that question, and I just can't think of anything.
Maybe there's nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe you've expressed it all.
Well, I think that I could talk more about your singular presence. I've never known anyone like you, or anything like you. So careful and particular and brilliant and searching and going out there with your chin out. So you don't seem to fear doing that. Right?
What is humbling is that when I pose that question to Karen Black, she says something so magnificent about Elliot Mintz. That to me is emblematic of the woman that I've known and who you are.
Oh.
That to me says it all.
Okay, darling. Thank you. So
God bless
true.
you.
God bless you.
I love you dearly.